Hey, I don't want to be awkward or anything. It's Thunder Dragonhawk. Listen, Dark and Roar were talking to me, and we're all really concerned about you. You there? I'm gonna come on in. Oh, dude. Oh, what are you doing?
Just miss Colossus.
Yeah, we all miss Colossus.
We were so good together.
Have you thought about calling your ex?
Twin-headed?
Hmm.
I guess. I miss us.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. Remember when the ban list had just come out and we made updated versions of all the previous formats' decks, but skipped over Thunder and Sky Striker because they had been so thoroughly decimated? Well, I've got bad news for anyone conductive in the audience. This past weekend at YCS Utrecht, Thunder Dragon topped. It gives me no pleasure to once more present Thunder Dragon. So here's the list, and it's the same list. It's the same list! As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is a one-stop shop for deck building, deck uploading, card searching, and strategy articles, some of which are written by yours truly. I'm proud to represent them, and I encourage any player interested in deck building to check out their website at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to crying about Colossus. Thunder Dragon is an archetype I've always taken issue with, mostly because instead of building on an archetype's previous identity, it invents one out of thin air in the hopes nostalgia-brained Yugists would hear Thunder Dragon and reach for their wallets. Nevertheless, I've since had to come to terms about its playability, mostly because of the mistake on legs in every sense of the term, Thunder Dragon Colossus. This salacious serpent prevented duelists from adding cards from the deck to the hand until his untimely demise at the hands of the January 2020 ban list. As we all began sleeving up Spiral, the collective community left the purple powerhouse to its plight and to unplayability. But apparently, rumors of Thunder Dragon's death were greatly exaggerated. While Thunder Dragon Colossus was most of the reason to play the deck, it turns out an advantage engine that's infinitely recursive, extremely consistent, and results in big dumb dinguses can have some other uses too. By utilizing the same core of powerful Thunder monsters alongside some new tools in the extra deck like Cross Sheep, Thunder Dragon can be modified into a powerful blind second strategy that takes advantage of the small size of most metagame threats with honk and chonkers like Thunder Dragon Titan and Thunder Dragon Duo. What's more, you get to play the laughably misnamed twin-headed Thunder Dragon, which, and I'm not joking here, is now a necessary piece of your ability to board build. If you're looking to consistently OTK after equalizing the board state, there's a strong argument to be made for these sparky survivors. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Firstly, our hand traps, 3 Nibiru, 3 Phantasme, and 3 Ash Blossom, the terrible threesome. Next are our Thunders, 3 of the OG, 3 Roar, 3 Hawk, 3 Dark, and 2 Matrix, because we no longer care about hitting our normal summon or doing a Linkaribo play. Finally, we've got 2 Duo, 3 Lupine, and 0 Solar, since making tokens and summoning Summoner is way less powerful when it doesn't result in a Colossus. For spells, we're on 3 Allure, 3 Instant Fusion, 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion, now the most powerful card in the deck, 2 Desires, and a Gold Sarcophagus, a total of 0 main deck outs to Mystic Mine. In the extra, we're on 3 Titan, 1 Twin-Headed, 1 Kaminari Attack, 1,000 Eyes, 1 Borreload, Appaloosa, BLS, Nightmares, Unicorn, and Phoenix, Summoner, did you know this card has an effect? Masquerena, Cross Cheap, and a Linkaribo. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Pendulum, a deck with which I have several ideological issues. Shaking my head. There's just no such thing as combo unity. They're playing the Spellbook variation of the deck, which plays the Crowley Link and a whole suite of Spellbook spells in order to more consistently trigger the effect of Servant. They're going to begin with a copy of Blue Boy, getting a copy of Secrets to Hand, followed by a copy of Knowledge. You'll activate Spell Power Mastery, and then set Servant before activating Knowledge, activating Lab, and activating Pot of Desires. That's enough to trigger the effect of Servant, which will special summon a copy of Jackal King from deck, turning off the Nibiru in our hand. Next, they're going to set a copy of Endymion, followed by the effect of Lab, adding a copy of Magister to hand. They'll activate Fox, and and then go into Crowley before, performing a Link summon with no spell counters on the field. Well, I smell what the rock is cooking, and there is Nibiru. From here, we should be able to easily clean up. We're going to activate Thunder Dragon, then we'll activate Thunder Dragon again, before activating Thunder Dragon Fusion, to make twin-headed. We'll go to Titan from here, triggering the effect of Roar, then we'll activate Thunder Dragon. This triggers Titan and allows us to start popping scales. We'll do this again, and one more time with this copy of Dragon Dark in hand, in order to pop the token that we otherwise have no out to. Now, I'm sure there's a way to assemble lethal here, but I can't figure it out. So we'll activate Allure of Darkness, go to battle phase, attack for 32 and 3k, and then pass it back to our opponent. We'll get that copy of Thunder Dragon Dark back to hand, but I think we've banished the third one, so we don't have the instant pot. No matter, this Ash Blossom is enough to win the game. Our second match is up against Block Dragon Burning Abyss, a deck that's just a little bit too big-brained for me to play. Our opponent's going first, and we've drawn 2 of the 3 hand traps, so let's hope this Phantasme can find our third. They're going to lead with a copy of Mathematician, setting a copy of Ola in the graveyard to get a token. Afterwards, we're going to make Cherubini, we'll activate Phantasme, and ooh, a rock off the top. Now, the rock is very interesting in this matchup because, unfortunately, it doesn't end your opponent's turn. They have so many extenders that if you do it at the first point of Appaloosa, they can likely still make the full board regardless. As a result, I get a little greedy here and allow them to continue playing. They're going to get a Seer to their side of the field before activating the effect of Saruya and the effect of Dante and the effect of Seer. Just love that all of these resolve in chain. They're going to put the Seer back and shuffle it back with this copy of Saruya before bringing out the first of many Block Dragons. They'll activate Helosaurus' effect, which we get to special for before going into an Edge Imp Sabers and a Curious. This Curious is going to send a Gub, and this copy of Block Dragon is going to add 2 cards to the hand, one of which wins the game immediately against us, but I don't think they have a normal summon. They'll bring out a Block Dragon, and I figure, okay, we've let them summon enough, it's time to fire off the Nibiru. That is a big boy, but unfortunately, because Curious went to the graveyard, they're going to be able to add back this copy of Pot of Avarice that was sent as a result of one of their random mills. They'll shuffle a bunch of cards back, draw 2, fire a Foolish Burial for a Dotscaper, use its effect, and then use Edge Imp Saber's effect in order to go into a copy of BLS Link, followed by a Gigante Special, a Cerberus destroying our remaining monster, and a Crusadia Astum. Okay, I still think I can beat this, shockingly. We're going to lead with a copy of Thunder Dragon. Thankfully, we've tucked one of them back. We'll use another one before activating Thunder Dragon Fusion for the boy. Next, we're going to go into Titan, trigger the effect of Dark for a copy of Duo. We'll activate Roar's effect, which triggers the effect of Titan, which does not target. Unfortunately, that does mean that it leaves the field. We'll Thunder Dragon, so our Duo gets over this copy of Block Dragon. Unfortunately, the Block Dragon does trigger. There's still one remaining Block Dragon in deck, but we are in a commanding position from here. In main phase 2, we'll activate Hawk to bring back this copy of Thunder Dragon Twin and get a copy of Titan on our side of the field with Dark Access. Our opponent will go into a Block Dragon and concede. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Salamangreat, and they've drawn Sanctuary. Additionally, we've drawn Nibiru, which spells the end for any deck that special summons. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Buffalo, which will link summon a copy of Balings. They'll activate Buffalo, then Sanctuary, then the effect of Foxy, before link summoning Sunlight Wolf twice, activating its effect in order to get a copy of Rage, setting 3, and falling prey to the rock. From here, we should be able to easily clean up. We draw for turn, we're going to activate Thunder Dragon. Next, we're going to activate Thunder Dragon again before activating Thunder Dragon Fusion, getting ourselves a copy of Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon and a copy of Titan. We'll trigger Roar's effect to get a copy of Dark, and then Thunder Dragon's effect, triggering the effect of Titan, and eating an impermanence from our opponent. Okay, now we likely won't be able to OTK, but we can still do as best we can. We'll Dark into a copy of Hawk, which we'll use to bring back the Twin, and then go into a Thunder Dragon Titan with an extraneous copy of Thunder Dragon. We'll attack for a ton of damage, then in main phase 2 make Appaloosa, because I've played against Salamangreat before. Our opponent draws a Gazelle off the top, what a rip, but we are prepared. We'll activate Appaloosa's effect, and eat the second infinite impermanence. Okay, let's see how far you can go. They're going to go Jaguar at the Baylink's link point, attack into our Appaloosa and directly with Jaguar, before in main phase 2, link summoning this copy of Sunlight Wolf a couple of times and passing it back to me. For turn, I draw a copy of Phantasme. We're going to lead with a copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion. We'll fire another Thunder Dragon Fusion for a Titan at a link point. This puts the Gazelle back in hand. We'll Thunder Dragon, using Titan's effect to pop the back row, and then Thunder Dragon again, using Titan's effect to pop the Wolf. They elect to save it even with the Gazelle in hand, which should have alerted me that something was up. We're going to Dragon Matrix, our copy of Thunder Dragon Titan, trying to stay under Nibiru, and falling victim to Prohibit Snake! Oh no! The card designed to outwinda outs my large fusion. We clear our opponent's board, giving them as little as possible to work with, but this is going to be rough. Dealing the last 500 is very difficult. They'll Gazelle, we'll Phantasme. I still feel okay about this. As long as we're allowed to untap, we should be able to OTK our opponent. They're going to go into an Update Jammer. What is Update Jammer going to do on this board? They can't make a... Oh no, Transcode Talker triggering, bringing back Update Jammer. Going to battle phase, they're going to trigger the effect of Update Jammer to negate the effect of the protection of Phoenix and get in for... No, this isn't... Oh, it's just over lethal. So it's time for game 2, and our opponent's hand is hard to assess. 2 Pot of Desires could be quite good for them, or they could spell their certain demise. They're going first, they're going to lead with a copy of Pot of Desires, and they find off the top, ooh, a Salamangreat circle for a Foxy. They're going to Foxy and look at the top of his deck. Actually, that's not very powerful. They're going to go into Aurora, a Balinx, and set 5. We'll activate this copy of Dark at end step, then for turn, draw a Phantasme. Right on time, Thanos. We'll go into a copy of Katamari Attack, into a Titan, we'll trigger the effect of Dark. That fiends a roar from our opponent. Okay, time to go to battle phase, and eat a copy of Enemy Controller. Alright, well, we'll pass turn. I want that monster back. For turn, they're going to draw a copy of Spinny. They'll normal summon Spinny and go into Balinx. We'll activate the Phantasme in our hand. They'll activate the Spinny in the graveyard and go into a Sunlight Wolf before passing. At end step, we'll activate Matrix so we can trigger the effect of Titan and pop one of these errant spells or traps, and what do you know, we hit the most important one. We'll go Hawk, we'll activate the effect of Titan, they'll activate the effect of Enemy Controller, we'll activate the effect of Phantasme, and this allows us to destroy their final remaining spell or trap. From here, the only thing I'm afraid of is Nibiru, and what do you know, there it is. We'll activate the effect of Clothheap and prompt our opponent for a huge rock, but we still do have the Thunder Dragon Fusion in hand, so we'll go ahead and make a Titan for our trouble, attack over the rock, and our opponent's got to draw something fantastic off the top. Unfortunately for them, it's a Bufferlo. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and yeah, this is going to be one of those games. This version of the deck activates spell cards more frequently than any other iteration, and as a result, Imperial Order is going to be downright devastating. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Pot of Desires. They'll draw 2 cards off the top of their deck before firing a Signet Mining, getting a Gazelle, normal summoning the Gazelle, and prompting an Ash Blossom from us. We'll activate Dark here as well, because I'm sick of holding A. Next, they're going to link summon a copy of Balinx, activate Will of the Salamangreat, summon a copy of Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze to bring back our Ash Blossom, set 2, and pass. For turn, we draw an Instant Fusion. We'll lead, of course, with a Thunder Dragon. We'll activate Instant Fusion and run face first into an Imperial Order. Okay, I still have a game plan. We're going to activate Dark, activate Fusion, despite the fact that it won't summon anything, so next turn we can banish it for a copy of Thunder Dragon Duo and challenge our opponent's life points. They're going to activate Flame Buffalo and then Reincarnation summon a Sunlight Wolf, putting back Rage, setting 2, and ending with a Nibiru in hand. What a commanding position. Okay, they're going to take 700 in standby. We're going to activate Thunder Dragon Fusion for a Duo. We'll activate the effect of Dark. Next, we'll activate the effect of Hawk. This will trigger the effect of Duo and prompt a Rage from our opponent. Okay, that's quite bad. We'll pass it back to them. For turn, they draw a copy of Mining. They'll take another 700, go to battle phase, attack directly for 1800, and pass it back to us. For turn, we draw a copy of Sark. Come on. We'll activate Roar here to get Hawk. We'll activate Hawk to bring back Duo. We'll go to battle phase. We will walk over our opponent's monster, but they still have a Balinx remaining. Okay, as long as there's something on our side of the field they can't remove, I feel pretty good about it. They'll activate Enemy Controller so they have space to put back the Rage, and as we activate the effect of Duo at end step, they will roar. The one card we didn't know. Okay, well, we'll fire another Fusion, but it's likely too late. We'll pass it back to our opponent, but thankfully it looks like they don't have lethal just yet. They're going to attack directly for 1800, reset this copy of Roar, and pass it back to us. A hand trap would have done it, but not this one. We'll activate Fusion for a copy of Hawk. We'll activate Hawk. They'll activate Roar, and it looks like we're exactly 1 activation short. Shoot. Okay, they'll just go to battle phase and clean up the set. So we're back with the deck, and Prohibit Snake aside, that was an incredibly satisfying showing. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. It's definitely doing something no other deck is really capable of, OTKing through interaction. Too often, blind second decks aim to not win the game, but equalize before building a board of their own. This deck identifies the best way to plus is to minus all of your opponent's life points. 2. Twin-headed Thunder Dragon is actually super good. It's a huge monster that can be recurred with Hawk for repeatable Titan access, it shuffles the most mandatory in-deck card back where it belongs, and it never fails to elicit a laugh from your opponent. And 3, this deck makes fantastic use of new extra deck toolbox options. Cross Sheep, for example, is right at home in this strategy. And the cons. 1. There are cards that eat you alive. In a format where basically everyone is boarding at least 1 copy of Mystic Mine, playing a deck without an out is pretty questionable. 2. Since most of your deck is monster effects, you're kind of a sitting duck for the likes of Appaloosa setups. And 3. Aren't you sick of it yet? When can we, as a collective player base, examine the archetypes that have been plaguing this game for the last year and a half and decide that it's time to pretend Plunder Patrol and Generator are playable, if for nothing else than to be beaten by a slightly different colored Bungus? All in all, it's still a playable deck, but it's holding on to the dying embers of playability. Its glory days are far behind it, and it's now vulnerable and predictable in ways that it never was before. So that's that. Thanks to my patrons, Protagify, Tyler Slacks, Miko Reichman, Crispy, Sir Tachyon, Emperor Stove, TJ Steakhouse, Pro Yugi Dad, Picnic Blastit, Burrito Man 93, Fighting Fang Wong, Donnie Fillerup, Meatmoto 27, Adam Sundquist, Isaac Jackson, Second, Lucas Geardis, Adam Trevino, Adrian Broad, Distrin, and others. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time.